Well, it's been a quiet week on the boat, principally because I've spent the last week at good friend's wedding in Tuscany, which was a fabulous time. So what I thought I'd do is just pull together a condensed 2 hour sail in Port Phillip Bay just of the previous week, and I'm doing this mainly for my own entertainment because I'm sure in a couple of years' time when I look back on this I'll be saying to myself, wow, they were pretty new systems that you were getting used to at the time, given I've only had the boat for about 6 months. So here we go. This is 2 hours condensed into about 10 minutes. There's plenty to watch and plenty to learn from. Sailing solo has got its challenges, and when I first started, there was some trepidation, but I've come to love it. But it's all about getting the boat set up. And most of that work occurs initially in leaving the dockside or reefing once you're out there. But generally, once the boat's set up, it's good to manage. But you can see here I'm pointed the boat into wind, and I'm getting the mainsail up. All of the winches for the mainsail are at the mast, which I'm keeping that way. I found it to be pretty effective. Everything's there, halyards and also reef lines as well. And initially I thought I was going to make some changes, but it actually works quite well. Whilst conditions on this day were moderate, 15 to 20 knots, this main is got a second reef in it, partly just the way it's set up at the moment. My first reef isn't in place, so if I want to reef my very first reef, if you like, is the second one. So it's quite a deep reef on what's already a reasonably small sail. But following that, I then get the staysail up. The staysail is on Hanks. The headsail, which is actually a Yankee, it's presently on a furler that's going on Hanks as well, as part of my refit over the coming month. This staysail is absolutely brilliant little sail. It's what I call it's my get me home sail under all sorts of conditions. It's as tough and robust as can be, and provides some great ability to control the boat in strong winds. Converting all my forward sails to hanked sails is probably a bit unusual these days, but certainly hanks are least complicated and least prone to any sort of failure. And also, just given the size of the boat and the limited configuration of rigging, hank sails give me the best flexibility around changing out sails for different conditions as well. The boat is currently, this day, doing about 5 to 6 knots in about, I think it would have been about 18 knots of wind at this point in time. I then turn my attention to the wind vane. This is a Fleming vane, as you can read, and is remarkably reliable. It's about 18 knots, 15 to 20 knots is what it's been, and we're just flying at the moment with the staysail and 2 reefs in, and we're clicking along. You can see up here we're clicking along at just under 5.5 knots. It's pretty pleasant. It's quite broad on the beam here, but the wind, as you can see, it's sort of 16, 17 odd knots. So I'm going to put out the Yankee, which is another 36 square metres of sail. The staysail on its own is about 22 square metres, so it's going to weigh considerably more. And what's that done for our boat speed? So yeah, we're up at 6.3 knots, so it's added about another knot. We're being steered by the Fleming wind vane, which is holding us on a pretty steady course. The Fleming wind vane will be one of probably the most critical piece of equipment on the boat. Without it, or if it were to fail, I simply couldn't complete the race. You just can't self-steer for 9 months. So I'll be putting in a fair amount of effort into making sure I can effectively fix anything that could go wrong with that wind vane, and you can be pretty confident things will go wrong. The cutter rig on the trade wind 35 is absolutely brilliant for broad reaching. It just creates a great slot between those two sails, and you can see it's pushing us along on this day. We're getting up to 7 odd knots with a fair bit of reefing in. Need to make sure that in tacking into wind that there's enough wind to actually bring that Yankee through. Winds under 15 knots mean I've generally got to assist the sail through that narrower slot between the staysail and the forestay. So. Now, Mushka's being rigged over the coming week with diform stainless steel wire strand. It's a more compact, denser cable, stronger, a little bit heavier, but stronger than the normal 19mm stainless steel wire. And just for one of those little trivial factoids, the Tradewind 35 is half the length of a Volvo 70, yet only carries about 20% of the upwind sail area of the Volvo 70s. So the sails are pretty manageable. There are no power winches on Mushka. But given the area of sail that we're typically dealing with, it's pretty manageable. So furling in this head sail, one of the last times that head sail is going to be furled in, is not that difficult. And of course, dropping the stay sail, which is on Hanks, pretty much the sail just drops. And so it is one of the advantages, I think, with the Hanks. You can pretty much kill it and put it up the sail of your choice. It does require a bit more work, a bit more risk, being up on the nose in all sorts of weather, but I'm going to give it a go over the next 6 months and see if it works for me. If it doesn't, well, I know there's always a furling system available somewhere. At 22 square metres, the mainsail is relatively small, even for boat this size. But again, pretty easy to manage. This is currently on nylon slugs, and the track in the mast is being converted to batten cars and a track. It's just going to make it easier to get up and down and easier for reefing as well. Well, there we are. There's 2 hours of sailing condensed to 10 minutes. Lots of continued learnings in all of that for me, and as you can see, changes are occurring to the boat over the coming weeks. So that's week 109. Stay tuned for next week, 108. I need to take the boat out with its jury rig and demonstrate that I can sail with a jury rig. So watch for that in the next episode, and also I should have some report on the re-rigging that hopefully will have commenced and hopefully be finished over the next week or so. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time. Bye.